I came out here when I was 12, when my parents got divorced, and I lived with my mom and my stepfather. My stepfather was verbally and physically abusive, and so I moved out when I was 15. And so I started using drugs when I was 15. Dropped out of school when I was 15. And I got caught up in the lifestyle and ended up in prison. And I did 15.7, I had a 15.75 sentence, and I did 13 1/3 years on it. God felt I needed a timeout, and I went to timeout. And I worked while I was in there. I worked Televerde, I worked Aqua Chill, and I worked for the Arizona Correctional Industries, ACI. So the jobs that I worked in there were what was known as retention jobs, where we earned more than $2. But like I said, we also paid rent being in prison. But they put it into a big savings account, so because I came out with some money, which made it hard for me to get food stamps when I got out. And also it makes it hard when you are a drug addict to get food stamps, because they believe that you're going to trade them for drugs. Doesn't matter that you're clean, that you're sober, and you have been, for me, 15 years sober, and I still have to jump through hoops. When I applied for DES told me no on food stamps, and then when they did finally give them to me, I had to sign a paper saying I was willing to do a UA for them. And that's no big deal, because I already do it for parole for at that time, my halfway house, and the doctor, and jobs, and anybody else that wants it.
When you say it's no big deal, it's kind of because you're used to that.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I'm used to not being in control, because in prison, we got UA'd, it was either randomly or targeted. And when they UA you in prison, you have to strip down completely, stand there naked in front of an officer, and pee in a cup for him. I have an app on my phone and I have a reminder that tells me to do it every day, that I just log in with the little number that they gave me and my birth date, and it'll tell me whether or not I have to pee that day or not.
And do you have to go into a facility to do
I have to go into a place called Aver Health.
Okay.
Because on the days when I wake up and it shows that I have to, I can't, when I'm not doing overtime, I've got that time in the morning, but they don't open until I have to be to work. But they're open an hour afterwards. So then I just got to rush from work and it's not that far from work, so I can usually get there. All the halfway houses are in the middle of a drug area. All of them are. Because anybody that has a nice neighborhood doesn't want a halfway house in them. They don't want criminals, they don't want, drug addicts in their neighborhood. But it doesn't matter that there's drug addicts in every walk of life.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a doctor or, if you're a teenager. Every family's got at least one somewhere. The halfway house, they get money from you in any way they can. If you didn't if they didn't feel it was clean enough, you had to pay. If you turned the air conditioning down, you had to pay. If you UA'd, you had to pay. You had to pay for everything. If the manager was hungry and she didn't have any money, you had to pay. I have an amazing amount of support, but for me, that is because of the choices I made while I was in prison. And not everybody has that. And I don't have any family in Arizona. But I do have some friends that I went to high school with that have reached back out, that when I went left in life, they went straight, but they're still in my life now. But I have an amazing support group through Arrowette. It's an amazing organization, and most of those ladies all worked at Televerde.
Okay.
And I worked there for 8 years. So, we were friends in there and we're friends out here. And they're just an amazing group of women.
That's awesome.
You can make a choice in prison to sit around and play cards and do nothing. You can make a choice in prison to get high, because there's a lot of drugs in prison. And my thinking is I was an addict from the time I was 15 till I was 40. And that's what got me in prison. And if I can't make the choice to change in there, what chance do I have when I get out?
Yeah.
But see, not everybody's like me. Yeah.
I don't think many people are like you, Tina.
Yeah. Not everybody thinks like that, So I worked the kitchen for the first 11 months I was in prison, and boy, is that disgusting.
Is it? Oh my God.
Well, when you get boxes of food that says not fit for human consumption, and they're feeding them to the inmates, that's just wrong. Medical care in prison is horrible. It is horrible. I've seen so many women die that didn't have a death sentence. They shouldn't have died. Because food's expensive. I mean, it is. It's expensive. And I'm the type of person where if I didn't have it, chances are I'm not going to eat, because I've got my bills, because I pay my rent, I've got my electricity, I've got my car insurance, my car warranty, my car payment. I would just not eat because everything else is more important. Well, I know that I am not a bad person. I'm a person that made bad choices when I was younger, but I am 54 years old now, and I just want to live my life, and I don't want to keep paying for my mistakes. And the system needs to, the Department of Corrections changed their name to the Arizona Department of Corrections Rehabilitation and Reentry. So if you are going to change your name to Rehabilitation and Reentry, do something to rehabilitate the people in prison, because they do nothing. Yes, you do have your select few that work, but that's not the entire prison population. And there is a whole huge prison population that needs to be rehabilitated and given better choices when they get out.
Well said.
Well, I'm getting back with my family. Actually, I met my cousin that I have not seen since he was a small child last week.
That's great.
He was in town and he came over and we went out to eat. So I'm getting back with my family, which I haven't been part of since I was 15.
Yeah.
So I want to get to know my family. I want to buy a house in a nice neighborhood.
Yes, you can walk around.
Yes, so I can go for walks. And I want to find somebody that's going to love me and accept me for me, flaws and all. I just want to be happy, and I don't want to be defined by my past.
I think that's a fair thing to want. That's what everybody wants.
Because, the whole point of a prison sentence is you go in and you do your sentence. And I get off parole on Valentine's Day of 24.
Oh, yay.
Yep.
Oh, you gotta celebrate.
Yes, I will celebrate, but I get off after I'm off paper, that means I've completed my sentence, so I don't want to have to keep serving it.